Hi, my name is Joe. I live in South Florida. I wanted to tell you about my experience with learning Spanish like crazy. I'm a 73-year-old retired hospital executive from Boston, Massachusetts. I retired about 10 years ago and moved to South Florida. I began to work for a large grocery chain and had many fellow employees and customers who were Latino. So I decided that I'd like to learn to speak Spanish. I also thought it would be a good idea because I would fight Alzheimer's and not have something to do in my retirement since I'm also a widower. So anyway, I had taken 10 years of German in college and in high school, and I had 6 years of French in high school and couldn't speak a word of it other than to say hello or how are you or some basic conversation like it's raining out. I could read it much better because that's how it was taught. I learned how to read German and I learned how to read Spanish fairly well. Couldn't speak a word of it. So I was afraid of getting involved in one of these learning courses again, and I accidentally came across learning to speak Spanish with learning Spanish like crazy with the emphasis on speaking Spanish. So I gave it a go. Excuse me. And I've used learning Spanish like crazy ever since, and I've actually used every single product that learning Spanish like crazy has offered. I enjoyed this journey because I can actually converse, although gringo-ish, with my Latino friends. Now, I worked as a fishmonger in this large grocery chain, and I had a lot of customers who spoke Spanish. I had a lot of Latino customers. Some were from Mexico, some from the Dominican, some from Colombia, some from here. And anyway, I used to enjoy waiting on these customers that they'd be in front of my case talking to the respective spouse about what they were going to get for supper and blah, blah, blah. And then I would join into the conversation in Spanish. And they would look at me like, holy mackerel. And then I would converse with them about what they were going to do, blah, blah, blah. And invariably they said to me, wow, you speak Spanish very well, and you have the accent. You're doing a great job. And of course that made me feel good, made me keep working on learning to speak Spanish. So what happens is now that I have every product that learning Spanish like crazy makes, I jump around. I use the verburator, then I'll use the video, learn, and then I'll go back to learning Spanish. And I jump all over the place because it keeps you from getting totally bored. And I've been working on this for almost 9 years. I'm also fortunate that I live in an area where there is a Miami-based Cuban, Mexican, Latino radio station that I listen to. And I also have access to Telemundo, so I get to watch a lot of Latin TV, telenovelas. I get to watch some movies with closed captioning, and I work my way through those. Takes a lot of time, but I keep getting there little by little. So the point of this little video is to tell you that if you want to learn to speak Spanish, get learning Spanish like crazy, get involved, put the time and the effort in, and I assure you that you will be able to speak Spanish other than just to say hello. And it's a fun journey, and I'll say hasta luego.